Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to True Telos Trading. Today is the 17th of January. It is a Saturday, but we're going to go over the trades we made on Thursday and Friday. We are currently red on one of those trades. As a matter of fact, it's the biggest red day of this month. On Thursday, we got a trade on a stock with the ticker BNKK. When I traded it, it was an S quality stock. It was the highest quality stock that we have on our True Telos Trading grading scale, but that is the stock I am the most red on. The second stock we traded on Friday, the ticker was GWAV, and I'm green on that stock. It was a small green day compared to the red day, but a green day nonetheless. Let's go ahead and talk about that trade we made on BNKK before we get into the charts and before we get into the True Telos Trading grading scale. So we saw that stock popping up, and one of the things that I really need to work on when I'm trading is the hesitation when you are getting into these trades. The main reason why I am red on this stock, and I'm red on this stock, $117.61, a huge red day considering our account size. I'm red on that stock because of hesitation. I hesitated getting in and I hesitated getting out. The stock made a giant move, and I hopped on it super late, and I was kind of awestruck when I saw the thing dropping. It's unfortunate that it did come back up after I sold it, but I saw it drop and I was down like 70 something cent a share, and I could not hold that position any longer. If I held it for any longer, I would have been down like $1 something a share, and I would have sold it for a lot less. Even though it came back up like 5 minutes later, that isn't a part of my True Telos trading grading scale. I don't want to be in a trade for longer than 1 minute. So the fact that it came up 5 minutes later has no bearing on my strategy. And it was a hesitation that caused for me. I saw it popping up and I was like, well, should I wait for a pullback to get in it? Should I? And it caused me to buy it at the top and then sell on a like a 3 minute dip on it. You'll see when I get into the chart. But the next day, I had wrote down, I need to stop the hesitation. Right now we're seeing a lot of things pop up. People are getting real anxious, and I see it in the market. Before the news even comes out, there's a lot of buying. And when the news comes out or it doesn't, that's when we see people taking their profit on these stocks. So the next day, we traded G-Wave. When we traded G-Wave, I was like, okay, I cannot hesitate. If I see a stock moving up off of decent volume, even if I don't see the news catalyst on it, I have to jump on it just to get that little bit of profit or that little bit of early momentum that I do see. And I was waiting for G-Wave. I was waiting for it to see the news because we saw this thing popping up, but I didn't see a news catalyst coming at all. As a matter of fact, I think I waited for like 30, 45 seconds as I was getting into that trade, and I didn't see anything. So I saw a little bit of resistance on the level 2, and I went ahead and sold that position. And I do believe, I have the paper right here in front of me, I got 31 cents per share of profit on that stock, and we were positive on that one, $26.63. So just the little bit of hesitation on Thursday caused us to have a massive red day, but we tried our best not to hesitate on Friday, and we got a decent profit. Even though we hesitated a little bit, we still got a little bit of a profit. So let's go ahead and get into both of those stocks on the True Telos trading grading scale to see how we rated those stocks today. Let's go ahead and get into that stock we traded on Thursday, the 15th of January. The ticker was BNKK. Like I said, it was the 15th. The stock had a decent news catalyst. I think it was like an acquisition or something. The stock had acquired, or the company had acquired another one. And it says something like had a big number, like 220 billion of this stock digital assets. This would be a +3 here. The stock had a very low float. It was only like 2.5 million when I traded it. This would be a +2 here. It was way above the 200 MA. When I look back, the 200 MA was like at 72 cents, and I bought this stock at $4.77. So this would be a +2 here. The volume was really good. As a matter of fact, it was close to like 200 to 300,000 shares per minute when I was trading it. So this would be a +1 here. It was well over 40% on the day when I traded it. So this would be a +1 here. Like I said, I bought it at $4.77, so definitely below 10. +1. It was the number one stock in the market without a doubt on the 15th. This would be a +1. And it hadn't gotten up to that $4 in quite some time. As a matter of fact, it just recently had a reverse split. The last time that it was at that high of like $4 was back in 2024. So this will be a +1 here. If we add all of these together, this gives us a score of 12. And this makes this, well, we don't have 12. I need to fix that. It gives this a score of 12. And a 12 makes this, according to our True Telos trading grading scale, an S quality stock. So we had an S quality stock pop up, and I'm currently red on it because of that trade on Thursday, $117.61. A S quality stock that I'm red on. I used the dip to resumption strategy to buy about, how many shares did I buy? 155 shares of this stock. 155 shares, and I lost 76 cents per share on this stock. And I was in this trade for, let's see, let me go back here and look at the position. I was in this trade for a little over 3 minutes. A little bit long for me, but like I said, I was awestruck when I saw that thing plummeting down. I was in this trade for a little bit over 3 minutes, and it just completely went against me. I could not sell the position. I was sitting there like staring at it, mouth wide open. I was like, wow, its qualities are going to come back up. And it did come back up eventually. And now that I look at it, and I'm going to show you this chart here in a second when we get done talking about the other stock, it came back up about like maybe 10 to 15 minutes later. That's way too long for me to be holding anything. I would have been down considerably if I held this. It would have been one of those hold and pray things, which is something that I don't want to do. I don't want to trade off of hope. I want to trade off of the strategy that I developed. Sometimes we're going to have these days where we are awestruck just off of what we are seeing, but I don't want them to be like plentiful. I don't want them to be a whole lot of days. So we did slip up on the 15th on Thursday, but we are going to try not to hesitate when it comes to implementing our strategies and the things that we want to do. Let's go ahead and move on to the next stock that we traded on the 16th, that Friday. On Friday, the 16th, we traded a stock with the ticker G-Wave. Again, it was the 16th of January, 2026. The stock actually didn't have a news catalyst this day, but we didn't know it before we actually hopped in. I figured the way that the stock was moving that it did have news. I saw a lot of volume coming in. I saw the stock pushing high. It was Friday. I didn't think that we would have a lot of news or a lot of anything at all. So as soon as I saw this thing moving, I decided to not hesitate and jump in it. This was a 0 here, so no news. The stock's float was below 10 million shares. Let me go ahead and type this stock in so I can see where it was when I traded it. G-Wave has a float of under 1 million, so 735,000 shares below 1 million. This is a +2 here, very low float. The stock was trading below or above its 200 MA. The 200 MA for this stock on the 15th was down there at was at $3.40 when we bought this stock. Let me go back. I have to keep on going back in the chart to see exactly where I purchased this stock at because I want to be correct with the information that I'm letting you all know. When we bought this stock, it was at $7.52. $7.52. So $3.40 some odd cent versus $7.52, well above that 200 MA. So this would be a +2 here. When we traded it, it had a strong amount of volume. I don't think it was over that 100K, but I do think it was over 50. This would be a 0 here. It was up right over 40% when we traded it. This will be a +1 here. Like I said, I bought it at $7.52, so well below 10. This would be a +1 here. It was the number 3 stock because I wrote that down. It was the number 3 stock in the market when we traded it Friday. This would be a +1 here, and it was not at any all-time highs. This will be a 0 here. So if we add all of these together, this gives us a score of 7. And we know a 7 is a F quality stock. If it had if we had saw that news, so we bought it before we saw the news popping up because we decided to not hesitate. If it did have news, it would have been a 10, and so if it was a 10, according to the True Telos trading grading scale, it would have been a just an A. So just good enough for us to get in and get a little bit of profit. We did see the thing popping up, and we were assuming that it had news because of the volume and because of the move that we saw in it. But we eventually we didn't see any news come through on this stock at all. And I'm just glad that we did get a small profit on it. We did use our strategy dip to resumption. We waited for this stock to have a small pullback before entering, and we'll see that when we get into the trade. We got a profit per share on this stock of plus 31 cent per share. We were able to buy on this stock 85 shares of this stock, and I think it's because of our account size. I do wish we had a little bit more on in our account, but that was our full account size that we had in this trade. So 85 shares on this stock. We bought it at $7.52 and sold it at $7.83. So it was a very decent trade. We were in this trade for less than a minute. Like I said, we didn't see any news popping up that made me a little bit nervous. We were in this for less than a minute, so that is right up our alley when it comes to our True Telos trading grading scale. On this stock, we made $26.63. So it was a green day, and these are the type of trades that we want to take. Unfortunately, we are still red on the week because of that massive hesitation that we had on Thursday on BNKK. But I digress. We want to hesitate a little bit less and try to maximize our profits and minimize those losses. So it's going to be a little bit of a climb back to get back to green on the month, but it's going to be something that we're going to have to work at. Let's go ahead and get into the charts to see how we traded both of those stocks. This is the stock that we traded on Thursday the 15th, BNKK. This is the trade that I took on it. We saw this thing popping up from way back here because I marked off the high of this candle at $3.96. And I had told myself if it breaks this high, I'm going to buy shares for the next move higher. That's breaking high of day strategy. I did want to wait for a pullback, but the thing was moving a little bit fast and it had great volume, as you can see up here. We had like 200,000, 300,000, 800,000 shares per minute being traded on this stock. So what made me, kind of hesitate? It was the big drop that we saw right here. We saw that this stock popped up all the way up to 315 and then back down to $3.52. That's a very, very big drop. It's like 65 to 70 cent drop. In retrospect, I did lose that much per share on the stock, but it made me hesitate a little bit when entering the stock. So I was sitting here, I was like, should I buy? I did see at this time that it was an S quality stock. It was making these highs. It looked like a great stock, but I hesitated so much that I didn't enter until this candle here. It made this high on this candle at $5.26, and I called myself buying the dip. So it dipped down here to like 477. That's where I bought shares at. But then it kept on retracing. And I was on this candle here, the deepest candle possible. Wow. The deepest candle possible. I saw it. I sold before it hit this low here, but I saw it kept dropping, and I had to go ahead and sell the position for a loss because like I said, I want to maximize profits, but I want to minimize losses. I just told myself, wow, I hesitated for like 2-3 minutes, and I bought the top and I sold at the bottom. That's something that I see myself doing quite a bit, hesitating on the buying and hesitating on the selling, especially if it's a bad trade or if it's going bad for me. I've gotten a little bit better at it in the last 4 months, but on days like this, I give back a lot of profits, something that I don't want to continue doing for the foreseeable future. So I did tell myself that I need to quit the hesitation, or I need to do my best to stop, and I'm doing that because on these trades, No, I'm buying with max buying power. Maybe I need to try to scale into the trade as it's moving up, just to see if the trade is going to see if it's going to match my setup, or see if it's going to keep on moving higher. And then when it shows me that it has a lot of support, I can purchase more shares as it's moving up. But I didn't do that today. I used a full buying power for one trade, which is what I normally do. I've been doing that since I started this this account. Now I've been buying with full buying power, just using one trade, one entrance or one entry, one entry, one exit, and it works out for me a lot. But on days like this, it fails. When it fails, I have a massive loss. So I need to do something to try to mitigate. So I'm thinking I'm going to try for the foreseeable future to have at least 4 times where I can buy. So 25% of my buying power. And as it shows me the support that I need, the confirmation that I need, I can enter more, and I can exit at a better price, or just not risk the full account when it drops back down to right here. And if it's coming back up, I can then choose to get back in it if necessary. But let's go ahead and finish off the recap of this trade. So we saw it. So we did see it moving up. We hesitated to get in. We bought the top here after it made that big move to 5, and then it started to retrace. People were selling. We sold our position at $4.01. So that's a 76-cent loss on this trade. And then we saw it come back up. We were very, very, very frustrated. We just went ahead and shut everything down. We couldn't do anything anyway because we didn't have any more buying power. But this just shows that S quality stocks do have that power to retrace. And I'm trying to see what was the news on this stock on that Thursday. I do believe that I said it had like an acquisition where it made a 220 billion or 220 billion of the company. I'm not pretty sure. I'm not sure what it was, but whatever that news catalyst was, it was big enough for the stock to make this huge move off of huge volume. So red day for this day, we decided that we're hesitating a little bit much on our entry, and we need to quit hesitation. We're going to do what we need to for this next week to mitigate that hesitation so we can maximize profits and minimize the risk on the account. Let's go ahead and move on to the trade that we made Friday on G-Wave. This was the stock we traded Friday the 16th, G-Wave. As you see, like it just made a pop and then right back down to where it was before. It was a pop back up and a drop back down. And this was what we saw. The stock didn't have any news. So like I said, we decided on Thursday the 15th that we were going to not hesitate when we see something popping up, because we are seeing traders hop on these stocks for that move higher. We have a lot of, I call it anxiety. We have a lot of anxiety in the market. People are very afraid of missing the move, kind of like me. People are very afraid of missing the move. So when they see something popping up, they're going to buy it now and look for the news later. So just bouncing off of that same idea, I saw this thing popping up, and I was looking for the news. Like I said, I looked for all the news. I looked at all the news outlets. I even went on the company's official site to see if it had any news for me at all. I didn't even see it on there. So I had bought preemptively, looked for the news, didn't see the news, decided that I had to get out as soon as possible. This thing made a pop up right here to 826 on the next minute candle. And I was hoping that it was going to make a little bit move higher. And I caught myself in that hope scheme. I tried to sell up here at like 790. When I pressed the sell button, it dropped back down just a little bit, and I got out at 783. I still thought that was a really good trade. I did watch it try to make a little bit move higher, and it did get up just a little bit before it came plummeting back down. The stock didn't have any news today. What we saw here was people buying this stock with the hopes of seeing a big news, with hopes of getting a move higher. Like I said, we were in this for less than a minute. We bought right here at 6:11 Central Standard Time, and then sold at 6:12. Very, very quick trade. We just got in and got out hoping that we were going to see a little bit of a push higher. Looked at level 2, saw the price kept on refilling at like $8. It kept on refilling at 8, so that was about time for us to go ahead and get out. A very, very quick trade, something that we don't want to continue doing, because we want to confirm the news catalyst on these stocks before we trade them. But I don't want to keep hesitating when entering these trades. Like I said, a second ago, I'm going to start buying small portions or start buying with 1/4 of my account rather than just going with 100% unless I know 100% that it is an S quality stock and I need to hop in with as much buying power as possible. But small green day on Friday, that's the way that we want to end the week. We want to end on a good note and then refine our strategies for the next week and keep on doing that until we become very successful at this. And this is something that I plan on doing. I want to become a successful trader. I want to prove that it is possible to trade with a 9 to 5 and then make this my official job. So I'm going to keep doing it, going to keep practicing, going to keep refining my skills, learning from my mistakes and also learning from the people that are also doing it. I watch a lot of people on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of you do the exact same. If you enjoy this type of content, please don't be afraid to like and subscribe. I appreciate all of your comments and I appreciate all of your support. If you have any questions, please don't be afraid to ask me. As always, I'm an open book when it comes to everything. I will see you all Monday. Hope you all have a great week and welcome to True Telos Trading.